Barton, Helen Edel Barton, Lawrence Excavaria. Who are they? They're the private Nazi owners of the IRS, a private corporation having nothing to do with government. How come you don't know that? Now, you're adults, so what chance do our babies have when we won't study? And the prophet told us to study. And then people who claim to be representing the prophet tell you don't study this stuff while you're getting screwed. Well, guess what occurs? All the taxes that you're paying doesn't go to the United States Treasury because it doesn't exist. That's why when you see in the paper it says the IRS and Treasury Department is the treasury of the popes under the Treaty of Verona. And not one penny goes to schools, not one penny goes to the streets or anything. It goes to European bankers. That's why you're broke. And you keep paying for your own enslavement. Drew Ali set up the Moorish Science Temple of America. It is itself a government. And it has been misrepresented. And he told you to maintain a grand treasury. He said beggar people cannot achieve the highest spirituality in themselves. So all the fiat that you've been so-called paying, which represents your labor, been going to the popes of Rome via the Inquisition revenue services that they call the Internal Revenue Services, backed up by the representatives on the floor of the Congress themselves, to the popes of Rome. How come you don't know that? You don't even know who you're paying. And you're only doing transferring your labor because you're not allowed to have money. And when you go to these jobs, you haven't even been paid, which, of course, he says again, admits in here. This is the floor of the Congress. These people that's running around here telling you to vote for them. If anybody should be aware of constitutional principles and the preservation of enforcement of that Constitution, it should be every Moorish American with a turban and fez on, even if it's no one else, because that's the heart of this movement, the enforcement of the Constitution. And without your free national name, and you recognize in your national government a name and principle, you have no true wealth. So don't talk about no job, because all you're doing is sharecropping. And you need to know that. You don't need to get angry, you need to get wise, and you need to get busy. And you need to study yourselves, and you need to study this movement honestly, and recognize this is a redemption movement. And it's for active people, not passive people, as they talk about in the treaty. You understand it's dangerous. And the other issue is dangerous to your welfare. But the major issue, why it's important for you to know this, because if you're not familiar with this information, don't feel upset because we're talking it. They're talking it every day in the Congress. You're the only ones that's outside the box. So don't think this is rare information. It's just that y'all out to lunch.